Oh, yes, that's more like it. Luton 3, Watford 0. What was the difference? We're going to ask Mark and Sam for their views on what was an amazing derby day for all Luton Town fans. Welcome to A Hatter's Walk. Oh, that feels better, doesn't it? Sam, Mark, welcome back. How are you feeling?
Amazing.
Pretty brilliant, yeah.
All right, welcome. If you've not come across the channel before, do drop us a quick subscribe and a quick like as we're going to review that derby results. And of course, we're looking ahead to, of course, a busy week for Luton Town. But let's get straight into it. Mark, how was the build up to the game? Was everything sound in terms of the arrangements, police presence? Stadium was bouncing? I could hear it on the telly anyway.
It was definitely rocking. I mean, I was in town at 8 o'clock. I started the build up early, and as with all these big games, it's getting the ground early, get the noise up, and I put in a post on the morning. Let's bring the noise, and we certainly brought the noise. It was just one of those special atmospheres as you get for derbies. Just we brought the noise. It was an intimidating atmosphere, and the boys definitely didn't disappoint.
Fantastic, Sam. What about the team sheet when it was first announced? Were you happy with it, or were you a little bit sceptical?
Well, I was a bit cautious that we were playing the 3 at the back, 3-4-3 again, but in practice it was a lot different. And obviously Morris coming back is always going to help, but it turned out that we were playing a 3-5-2 system with Chong, Kraus, Clark all in midfield, and the tactics were completely different, which I couldn't really tell from the team sheet. So there was a bit of nerves, I think, when I saw the lineup, but obviously all worked out well.
Yeah, the Watford fans we spoke to, Mark, said that they couldn't cope with the Luton press. You were on them from minute one, and they never actually got going. Edward's got this one right, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, right from like 30 seconds in, when Alfie Doherty puts in a tackle, they knew what was at stake, and this has got to be one of my most satisfying wins against Watford, purely because the build-up, there was just so much on the game, as there is always with the local derby, but just because of our form and what's happened in the previous couple of weeks, the players have had 2 weeks to stew on the Sheffield United game, and they knew what it meant, and they intended on delivering, and they certainly did.
Absolutely. There was one player in particular which came out head and shoulders above in terms of praise on social media after this. Sam, you've already mentioned him. Kraus, Mega Dark Flames said, has definitely skyrocketed up to one of my favourites. I knew he had potential when I saw the rumours about him signing, but now he's proving himself. Please, Luton, sign him permanently. How good was he, Sam?
Yeah, he was everywhere. He put in a proper defensive midfielder performance. He won so many tackles, and he's one of those players who has a big engine. He's up both ends of the pitch, and he works very hard. And it would be a dream if we got him permanently. I'm not sure whether to think about that just yet, but he's obviously a top player.
Absolutely. Morris was also one we mentioned. Mark, the word leadership came up a lot when I was looking for what reaction there had been. Marty summed it up by saying that might have been Morris's best turnout for us. Absolute leadership, everything we're about. Love the boy. Does that what he brings to you? A little bit of bite, a little bit of leadership on the pitch that perhaps we've been missing in recent weeks?
He just led the line so well. I mean, he must have been an absolute nightmare to defend against. He never gave the defence a moment's rest, and yeah, I think they were just glad to get off the pitch because we literally didn't let up. I mean, chatting after the game, you talked about man of the match, and you could name 7 or 8 candidates for man of the match. Everybody was that good, and the atmosphere was special, and yeah, it was just like a complete perfect performance.
Very good. What about Adebayo, Sam? We've talked about him a lot in recent weeks. Some good, some bad. How did he do for you?
Yeah, he was a lot like his usual self. It's still disappointing he didn't get the goal he's been needing. He was close in the second half, but it was quite a good save from the keeper. But he brings so much to this Luton team in terms of his work rate and his aerial presence as well. But mainly he's just everywhere when he's at his best. There's so many. He's such a target man that he attracts the ball, and obviously also one thing that's about him as a player is his pressing is one of the best I've ever seen in terms of how much he closes down defenders and presses the other team. He's so good at that, especially in a derby game like this, which was needed.
Yeah, the one person, Mark, who needed it most was Rob Edwards. This buys him. I'm not sure if it needed it, but it certainly buys him. Gets a lot of people off his back, doesn't it?
Well, funnily enough, I didn't see any posts over the weekend that we need to change our manager. Strange that, isn't it? But to me, as I've said on the show before, I've always backed him, and to me, he cares. And he said in the interview before, he says he's a Luton fan as well as a Luton manager. And for me, it's not bought him time. There's never any doubt. There's never any doubt that the results wouldn't come. We've got the squad, we've got the players, and Rob's the man to take us forward. And he has been, he always has been, and he will be.
There's lots of banter, of course, going backwards and forwards. I did like this from when on the Town podcast. Credit to you guys. Stick to the Quidditch because Tom Cleverley was very quick to point out until they know. Well, they didn't. What about the fallout then? Some of the unsavoury things that have fallen out of the game. First of all, some of the chanting that has been directed towards Luton Town fans. So the club have been investigated, I believe, for homophobic chanting. There was also complaints made about chanting about Graham Taylor towards the Watford fans. I mean, I'm not asking you to repeat anything you've heard, but was it played in good spirits, or was there an element of some nastiness in the stands?
I'm not sure if if the homophobic chant's related to the Elton John chant or if it's another chant, but yeah, I don't quite understand the chant, so I can't really comment on it. But obviously, any chants like that aren't really great. But yeah.
I mean, from where I was sat, it's yes, there's banter before the game, but there's a line that you don't cross, and I don't condone it, but yeah, from my point of view, where I was sat, I didn't hear the chant that resulted in the complaint, but yeah, it's just there was banter backwards and forwards, and some of it may have crossed the line. I don't know, but I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure those that are responsible will be certainly held accountable. We don't want that sort of thing
No.
in football at all, do we? But well done. Yes. Do you enjoy these? Can I ask you both? I mean, you enjoyed the result, don't you? But the build up to it, like you said, when you walk in the ground before kick-off, is it an enjoyable nervousness that you have, or is it unpleasant because of just how much was on the line with this one?
It's just the build up for weeks, and obviously we've had we've had the international break, so we've had even longer to think, and you're just thinking, please turn up, please put in the performance. And I mean, Watford haven't scored on the last 3 visits, and they've not even turned up to any of them. And just the satisfaction of delivering just a great performance, you can enjoy the euphoria afterwards, but it's just do not lose. You dare not lose, because then you've got to listen to the bragging rights for several months afterwards. So if you lose, you can still hold your head. If you draw, you can still hold your head up high. But yeah, it's just it's a feeling like no other game all season. the build up to it, and the day.
Okay.
Look forward to,
Sorry, Sam.
I look forward to these games, but it doesn't stop me from feeling nervous because I can't contemplate losing to a team like Watford, and it takes me a while to get over it. When I think a couple of seasons back we lost 4-0, and I was pretty devastated for multiple days after. But the build up is great. I do look forward to it a huge amount.
All right. Thank you very much. We don't have to talk about Watford anymore now till February, I think, when the first fixture comes along. Let's talk about Sunderland and Coventry instead. We're recording this before the Sunderland games, of course, away to Coventry this weekend, who haven't started well themselves. How do you see these two going, Mark? Would you be happy with 2 draws?
It's going to be a tough game against Sunderland. Obviously, we've had the euphoria of Saturday, and I think Sunderland's going to be a totally different game. With my optimistic head on, I'd say we're at home and we're playing against struggling Coventry. So 2 wins would be great, but I would be also happy with 4 points in the next 2 games.
Okay, Sam?
I think Sunderland is quite tough opposition, and I think obviously we've got a bit of a boost with that Watford result, but I feel like they might have a bit too much for us. But I think for Coventry, they're meant to be in really bad form. I think we could win that. So I'm going to say we lose to Sunderland and beat Coventry.
All right. Love this confidence is oozing back to you, Belle. That's great. Great to hear. It's Halloween, of course, soon as well. So we're asking across our network this week for all our teams to name their nastiest and scariest player. You know, that player that you just love to sit in the stands and watch them. We're so glad they were on your side. Sam, in recent years, can you think of a player that's just had that little bit about them that you...
It's a pretty answer, and that's just Tom Lockyer. That's the natural answer. He's a master of the dark arts when he was playing for us. I remember, I think it was last season, Wolves at home. He somehow got Bellegarde sent off. I think he was grabbed by Bellegarde and then fell down to the ground crying, and then VAR looked at it, straight red for Bellegarde. And the amount of shirt pulling he did and grappling, he was definitely a nasty player, but it was amazing to have him play for us.
Okay, Mark, you've seen a few, I'm guessing, in your days of following Luton. Who sticks out the most for you, though?
I mean, I think at the time, the scariest probably was Mick Harford. I mean, I've got to know him a bit recently, and he's just like a big softie. But at the time, I always remember, like when he played for Derby and trampling over Watford players, all the opposition used to say, "Don't upset him, don't wind him up." But apart from that, Kevin Nichols was a really hard player, and probably the biggest wind-up merchant would probably be Danny Hilton.
Oh yeah, that's another good answer. Another good one. I remember him.
All right, thank you both. If you can beat
pick
that,
up
you know what
so
to
many
do.
bookings.
Yeah. So if you can beat that, drop us a comment below. You know what to do. Thank you all very much for watching this review of that Watford game. We'll be back next week to review the Sunderland game and that Coventry game as well. Enjoy your football this week, all of you, and thank you very much for joining us on Where Hatters Walk. Great to have you along with us.